Hey, it's Dunkee from CodeLaamaa. I'm a friend of Yoti, and he asked me to come in and teach you about something new with regard to programming. Well, let's see what's out there. In your last video with Yoti, you looked at one of the most important blocks out there, the print block. You use the print block to tell your users important information. Now let's take it to the next step. Let's learn how to manage data in our code. You manage it by using what are called variables. In a nutshell, variables basically hold information. And you can hold all kinds of information, but they change every time you run the program. So if I run it once and I enter 5, next time it could be 10. It could be anything depending on what we're trying to do. Now, the most important thing about variables is that they must be declared before you use them. I must say I'm going to have a variable called x, and I'm going to set it to 5. Or I could have another variable called y and set it to 2.95. Or I could have another variable called z and set it to 3. But here's a trick. With variables, you shouldn't just call them x and y and z unless that's really what they are called. But if you have something called temperature, try calling it temperature. If you have something called size, try calling it size. Right? Try and keep your names similar to what you're trying to do so that when you're reading your code, it's easy to work with. Well, variables, they can be numbers, like 33 or 45 or 98. They could be decimal numbers, so they could be like 2.33 or 5.33 or 9.2 or so on. And variables can also be text. They could also be like hello world or bye bye. And they can also be Boolean, like true or false. There could be a number of examples of doing that. You could say set my name to Jim, or set is cloudy to false, or set x to 2.95, or set x to 5. All right? There's all kinds out there. Now let's see how we can use variables in our game CodeLaamaa. We're going to switch over to our mission level and see how we use variables. Alright, so we got my buddy Monkey here. He's about to demonstrate to us some variables. So what you do is you click on the variables option and you get the generic variable there that you drag in. It says set item 2. You can click on create variable and you can change the name of the variable. I'm going to set it to x here. Now, let's set it to be a number. So we'll click on math, drag a number object, and we'll change it to number 5 by clicking on that 0. Now we have set x to 5. That's our first variable. Now let's try printing it out. So we're going to go to I/O, click on print, and we'll have print ABC, but we'll drag the ABC away for a little bit. We'll go to text, and we'll choose create text with to combine a message with the variable information. So we'll just drag ABC to that puzzle there, change ABC to you said. And now if we want to get access to that variable, we click on variables. And there you see x. Because we created x, we see x, we'll just drag that over. So now, if we try running this thing, we should see you said 5. And there it is. You said 5. Now, let's try again. Let's hit clear workspace. Let's click on variables, drag another generic one that says set item 2, click on create variable, and let's change this to be the variable called welcome. is going to be a little welcome message that says hello world. So now let's go over to text, drag a text block in, and enter hello world. And hit OK. And now let's create another variable. So click on variables, hit set item to. So now we have two variables. We'll change item to be by clicking on create variable. Let's set this to be age. And hit OK. And now I'm going to demonstrate a decimal number. So we'll drag a math object over, change it from 0 to 5.5. And now let's drag over a print block and try printing things out. So let's start by printing out something about the age. So we'll click on text, do a create text with. We'll move that generic ABC over to the first part of the create text with, and we'll click on ABC and basically say I am, with a space, because we talked about spaces last time. And let's look for our age variable, drag that in. And now let's print out the hello world. So before we do that though, let's actually add the word years old. So we'll expand upon our create text with and add another text block in to say years old. And before we go, let's print out our welcome message. So I'm going to grab a print block, just drag away the ABC, and look for our variable that says welcome. And now let's run this thing and see what happens. And there you go, it says I am 5.5 years old, or 5.5 years old, and we have hello world as well. So there you have it. That's a little crash course on variables. Now try it out in your own missions in CodeLaamaa. So now you know how to use variables, and you know how to print them to the screen. So now you've learned two very important tricks about programming. And if you haven't done so already, head over to www.codelaamaa.com and download CodeLaamaa for your iPad or Android device and give it a try yourself. You won't regret it. It's a game that takes place on Earth 5 in the not-so-distant future. Humans have abandoned the world, and it's up to us animals in the animal kingdom to bring it back. We can only be brought back or restored through the power of code. So you need to learn how to code to save it. I know you're up to the challenge. So what are you waiting for? Next time, we're going to learn about math. So we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.